FG, members of the High Command of Tanzania, provincial leadership, and more importantly, the comrades at large who are sitting here and patiently listening to this presentation. Viva Tino, viva! And I'm not going to be long. I'm going to just to re-emphasize one of the issues that was raised by the FG. Indirect discipline, it goes together with the Constitution. And indirect Constitution and membership, the reason why the FG made all of us to read that declaration is because that is the beginning of your membership of MP. If you don't respect that, let's almost starting to be members, then what's the point of having an organization? Secondly, the organization by its nature means that we have different views on it. But as an organization, we try to over time, we because if all of us were thinking the same, then there's no point of having an organization. The mere fact of an organization, especially an organization like this, is that it gives us an exciting stage. All the organizations in the islands, there's nothing 100 years ago, there's nothing we can do. Take our privilege, while the first members of this organization. So with the chance to build the foundation, other generations are going to come, they have changed, but if we mess up the foundation, what are they going to build on? So we need to be patient, we need to tolerate each other. We come from different cultures, different organizational backgrounds, and so on. And we are trying to build something new. It comes out, it's not instant coffee and everything nice. We need your patience, that's what I'm appealing to. But more importantly, we need discipline. Discipline is a very difficult thing because sometimes we can think as what you are saying that Miriam and I know this thing, then I ate my food. But if the house is feeling good, let's go this way. You need to meet the house where it is. Now imagine if the whole country has a particular view when there's only one right hand and one. Okay, now the reason why Umsholozi had this idea of forming this organization was because, as the FG was saying, we realized that as a people who are getting lost, were taking a particular direction. And for us to go back to where we're supposed to go, we can't just individually feel that we must go a particular way. We need an instrument, a vehicle, in order that we can use towards that direction, like I said. So, the second point I want to make is that this constitution is a living document. So again, nobody must want to cut their wrist or put in something in this constitution. This is a democratic organization where we start somewhere. Right? That is why the president of the organization said we are going to have, even though we are not rushing to have elective conferences, but we are going to have consultative conferences. Now, the consultative conference is more important than an elective conference. Because, you know, those of us who are participating in the ANC and other organizations, you know that you saw Nazareth 1, Nazareth 2. People go there, they are supposed to be debating policies. What do they do? It's all about leadership. Who's going to be in what position and what for 5 days. We we don't want anything to go that direction. Because as people must learn from the mistakes that have been made in other organizations. So when we talk about consultative conferences, those are going to be forums of serious discussion, very serious discussion about where are we going as a country, as a continent, as black people, as the left, as progressive forces. And one day, maybe one day, I don't know when, we will come from the such consultative conference and say, okay, this is how we should do things. So whether today one patience, and revolutionary patience and discipline. Without those things, we are not going to go anywhere. So behind this one, there's no individual among all of us who is more important than the organization. All right, let me come to the specific questions. Okay, so let me take some of the questions and the LC will also take some of them, particularly those that relate to his inputs. There's this issue that seems to be troubling people about appointments. The power to appoint comes directly from what we call democratic centralism. Democratic centralism is a method that is used in revolutions, which means the decision on the higher structure is binding on lower structures. It's very simple. I put this, it's not something complicated. Why is that done? It is done, remember, even in the command theory comes from the army. So if you are running an army and you say we're going to attack at 12 o'clock, right? There are structures, there's a commander or a command structure that decides when you are going to strike at 12 o'clock. They have assessed the weaknesses of the enemy, they have looked at all the issues that need to be looked at. And then on the day of the attack, it starts to rain or something that was not planned. Then we must rely on those people who have been entrusted with those decision-making powers to say, but we're not going to strike today. Or, no, I'm going to take a tool now because of this attack. That decision might be wrong or it might be right. But the point is that we can't say only the guidance on 10 o'clock, or maybe not say on 11, and not say on 11. Because if you do that, you are going to be defeated. So it's that kind of thing which, when we talk about command is that, means it's police, it's a command. Right? In the old MK of the 60s, the army, the underground one, which had no democracy, by the way. The democracy was there in the other organization. But in one way, it was a natural approval of the visual law. You comply and you ask later. Now, this is not an army, this is not the old MK of 1961. So we have to mix these things. We have to mix the democracy plus the command. And it will happen over time that at some stage those two things will meet together. It's not an easy thing. And it has not been done before in any other organization. So we're trying new concepts because of the mistakes that we have learned from the other organization. So, when we say the High National High Command is going to appoint structures, or even the president, remember the president, I hear people say, hey, we went for the elections, what state. Otherwise, who President Zuma can say, I'm the one who formed the organization. If President Zuma is prepared to subject himself to this constitution, himself, the person who thought out this whole idea, he is prepared to subject himself to the constitution. See, that's how bad it is. And I can assure you, I'm telling you from direct experience, when some of these things were being debated, President Zuma was himself there. He himself said, no, what of this, and he had to compromise on some of the issues. So if he can compromise, he is the one who wants to fight the constitution. So that is how it's going to work on this. So the National High Command will appoint all the structures of this organization. And to come to the question that was being asked by Comrade Cheliwan, you can't answer that question. It's not about breathing out and so on. All that is going to be decided by the National High Command. What does that mean? So it is very simple. If there is a structure out there, and I don't know, let's say there were 10 people. Let's say there were 10 people in that structure. And the National Command says, now we want a top 8 or whatever. The National Command has the right to say, we're going to have 8 new people. Or let us say, no, there are 2 comrades or 3 comrades who are useful, so we'll only advance. So we'll do that. But we can't tell the National Command how to approach that question. How they approach it in Lauderdale, how they approach it in Mpumalanga might be different. So the Mpumalanga might be different dynamics and they approach it differently. But the bottom line, we are guided by the Constitution. We say the National High Command shall right. Then the next issue is about dual leadership. Again, this is not something, the Constitution is not about individuals. So you can't say, hey, I'm a go to Parliament and then the same time I'm sitting in the National High Command, shoot the high and fight against me. It's not about you. There is a reason why you want American Parliament and then the same time for leadership. Because this is a new organization. We want people to work on it. Then the other thing, comrades, is the following. And I don't want to be blunt, but I want to put it bluntly. This is a democratic country, right? So there are many political organizations in it. So if you take this thing, you must take it whole and read it properly. We put the art in it. I like this thing, I vote, but I don't agree with any of these things. Please, tell us how we are going to you can go back. The last point is just to address the issue very quickly. I want to address the issue of labor brokers and so on, not directly. All I want to say is the following. The reason why we have those people in Parliament is because those people in Parliament represent us. And Parliament is where the laws are made. And you are quite right, the laws on the retrenchment in particular are very retrenchment. So, which means taking our efforts to grow the SG, grow our fractures. We make sure whoever in Parliament is in the Labour portfolio committee is so taking our organization that has the ability to take what your proposals through the organization so that they find themselves in Parliament. And then the organization responds to that so that person can go to Parliament and say, no, we want the president to change. And because we don't have the numbers, they say, we don't care about MKC. Then as a man, then we say, we're matching to the Labour department and so on. So that's how the organization works. So we combine the power that we have in Parliament. Sometimes we go to court, sometimes we go to the street, sometimes we do a system, so that we work as one system. That is what we mean by an organization. So that's the second part. But before we can announce I just want to say the following thing. You must, I'm glad this presentation that was being recorded. Then you must go and listen carefully about what we're trying to do here. The SG spoke about total liberation, total freedom. When we go to our own practice, let's try and unpack what that means. What does it mean? And I was saying to somebody, total means total. Zone, everything. So in our history, there were many organizations that fought for the different stages. So there were people who fought military wars for centuries. Then there was the ANC, the SGSA, which basically was fighting for political freedom, right? Then there was an organization such as, for example, the EFF that emphasized economic freedom, right? All those things are important. But we have now reached a stage where we are saying, as a people, we want total freedom. So that's our ideological standpoint. Cultural, social, knowledge, ideological, economic, or freedom. See, that's the one that matters. We will reach that stage. That's what the OPM is here to bring. And we must be able to internalize that. But we will never do any of that if we don't unite this organization first and unite our people. When we say we unite black people, we're not saying just about skin color. It's about uniting black people because the black people are the most oppressed black people in this country. When we say we unite women, we are not just uniting women because they are women biologically. It is because women as a class and as a gender face particular issues and we have to be able